All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a film that's really more than a film. It's a question it asks every single person who watches it. We're going to break down why Sean Penn's masterpiece, Into the Wild, is a movie you absolutely have to see.
This quote right here, it's from the real person at the heart of this story, Christopher McCandless. And honestly, it perfectly sums up the whole movie. This isn't just about some guy's road trip. It's about that deep, fundamental human itch for something more, something beyond the safe life we're all told we should want. This is the soul of his journey.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with that universal feeling of wanting to escape. Then, we'll look at what it means to reject society's playbook, dive into the complicated idea of solitude, geek out a little on the incredible filmmaking, and wrap up with the big, lingering question the film leaves you with.
First up, the allure of escape. This is really the film's big hook, right? It's an idea that hits so hard because, let's be real, we've all felt it at some point.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Your job, the bills, the social media pressure, all of it. Have you ever had that little whisper in your head that just says, what if I just walked away? That exact feeling is what drives this entire story. And this is the man who actually did it. See, Christopher McCandless wasn't some guy with nothing to lose. He was a star athlete, a top student from a great university, with this perfectly paved road to a conventional, successful future right in front of him. But he looked at that road and chose to go the other way. Radically different.
And that deep desire to escape flows right into our second point, his complete and total rejection of the American dream. This wasn't just him taking a gap year. This was an act of rebellion.
This number says it all. $24,000. That was his college fund, the nest egg for his successful future. He didn't just spend it. He gave every last penny to charity. This act was his point of no return. He was all in.
He literally took his credit cards and cut them in half, abandoned his car, he even burned the last of his cash, and then he just walked away from his family, his name, his entire identity. It's such a stark, powerful move.
And this just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? The two paths. On one side, you have the absolute peak of what society calls success. Harvard, money, security. And on the other side, the complete opposite, the raw wilderness, almost no possessions, and a terrifying amount of freedom. The whole film lives in this tension.
But here's where the story gets really fascinating. His quest for total isolation leads to something unexpected. And that brings us to our third big idea, the paradox of solitude. He went out there looking for emptiness, but he found something else entirely.
For a guy so determined to be alone, he spent his 2 years on the road forming some of the deepest human connections you can imagine. He finds a surrogate mom, a true friend and mentor, and even an elderly man who loves him so much he offers to adopt him and make him his grandson. The irony is staggering, right? His search for solitude was defined by the people he met along the way.
And the film really makes you wrestle with the difference between solitude and loneliness, because they are not the same thing. Solitude is a choice. It can be powerful, purposeful. Loneliness, though, that's an ache. That's despair. McCandless was actively chasing one, but in the end, he couldn't quite escape the other.
And this is the gut punch. The heartbreaking conclusion he comes to, scribbled in a book during his final days. After everything, after going to the most remote place he could find to get away from it all, he realizes the most basic human truth there is.
Now, okay, beyond all the deep themes and philosophy, we have to talk about the fact that Into the Wild is just an incredible piece of cinema. It's a true masterclass that turns a great story into a totally unforgettable experience.
Every single element here just sings. Sean Penn's direction is so empathetic, you feel like you're right there with Chris. Eddie Vedder's soundtrack basically becomes the inner voice of the character. It's iconic. The cinematography makes the American landscape a character itself, just stunning. And Emile Hirsch's performance, wow, he completely transforms. It's how all these parts weave together that makes the film so powerful.
And all of this, The journey, the beauty, the tragedy, it all leads us to the final point, the film's real goal. It isn't to tell you a story and then let you go. It's to leave you with this huge, enduring question about your own life.
The film puts these two ideas side by side and just asks you to think. Is a good life about success, the stuff society measures, like money and job titles? Or is it about significance, the stuff you measure for yourself, like meaning and purpose? It doesn't give you the answer. It just makes sure you ask yourself the question.
So, let's wrap it up. Why is this a must-watch? Because it taps into that desire for freedom that lives in all of us. It forces you to question what success really means. It tells a beautiful and tragic story about how much we fundamentally need each other. And on top of all that, it's just a stunning, masterfully made film.
In the end, the film might be about Christopher McCandless, but it holds up a mirror to you. And it leaves you with this one simple but incredibly deep question to carry with you. Could you do it? And maybe more importantly, what's the everything you'd be leaving?